Where was Harry's family, so-called family, when 72 female members of parliament were defending his wife instead of his actual so-called family doing it? They said nothing. So don't expect Harry to defend them from the truth. You can't defend someone from the truth. The fact is, Charles and Camilla cruelly treated the late Diana. Someone also said that they were busy leaking falsehoods to the press and were upset that those 72 female members of parliament showed support to Meghan. Yes. The firm was busy leaking against Meghan, busy bullying Harry's pregnant wife. So much so that they were angry when 72 female members of parliament stood up to the UK press, because UK press will not go after Meghan without the full consent of the royal family itself. You need to understand that. They will never go after Meghan without consent from the royal family. Look at how the entire tabloid media landscape has been activated against Netflix. That is the power of the farm, the power of the royal family. But yet they said, we couldn't do anything to defend Meghan. We couldn't do anything. Some said, we couldn't defend Meghan from true allegations. That is what they said after the Oprah interview. I remember hearing that. Well then, if that's the case, I want to say this. Prince Harry also cannot defend the royal family or the farm, whatever it is they call themselves, from true allegations, from facts. Harry can't defend you from facts that actually happened. And members of the squad, in the Panorama interview, Diana talked about how Charles wanted to have her, Charles' friends were saying that Diana needs to be put into a mental institution. And then Diana was asked, why? Why did they want to put you in a mental institution? And Diana said that perhaps, there is no better way of breaking a character than isolating that person first. You isolate that person, then break that person's character, their charisma, their drive. That is what the royal family sought to do towards the late Diana. And once again, see any similarities? See anything that is similar? They are doing the exact same thing towards Meghan. They wanted to break Meghan, to isolate, then break. No wonder even, I recall, Carnival or so-called expert like Robert Jobson, Charles' friend, who said that Meghan has no friends. Why would he say that? Why would he say that? There is no better way to break someone's character than first isolating that person. And that is what the farm did to break Meghan. And it's so similar. Stories about what they did to Diana and what they are doing, how they're smearing Meghan. The smear campaign against Meghan also, very similar. They don't change. The farm never changes its practices. They don't change one bit. My family, they don't change. And that is why one of their biggest fears is people, putting one and two together. That is the farm's biggest fear. People connecting the dots between how they have treated Diana and what Meghan said in the Oprah interview, how she has been treated. People connecting the dots. And think the problem is not these two women, not the late Diana, not Meghan. The problem is the institution of the monarchy that causes pain towards these two women who married into the royal family. That is the problem. The monarchy, not the women who marry into it. My family. And It's high time that people put two and two together. It's high time that people put two and two together and see exactly, how cruel the institution is towards the women who marry into it. It's high time that people put two and two together. Harry cannot be expected to defend people who have never lifted a finger to defend him or his pregnant wife or his kids from abuse and racism. Nobody ever defended Harry when his son was being racially abused at just a few hours old. No one defended Harry when Lilibet Dana, baby girl Lilibet Dana, was being bullied over a name. Nobody defended Harry or Meghan when that happened. If you can recall, Lilibet Diana's name was turned into a controversy at just a few hours old. Nobody defended Lilibet Diana. The palace itself sent someone to the BBC itself to say that, hey, look, Harry did not ask for permission to call her daughter Lilibet Diana from the Queen. The palace sent someone to do that. The palace did. Constantly leaking stories. But somehow, if in the future someone makes a film about all of this, the palace will deny what it did. It will deny that they sent a source to the BBC to deny that, to say that the Queen never gave Harry consent to name his daughter Lilibet. Because that's what the palace is doing right now with The Crown on Netflix. Majority of the things that will be on Netflix The Crown, not all, majority. The other side will be fiction. But majority of it will be loosely based on the truth. And the royal family is afraid of people seeing the truth. That is what they fear. People must open their eyes to the cruelty of the farm and call it out. It's high time that they do that. It's high time that they do that. My family, I hope if the crown will lead to the end of the monarchy, then I hope that it achieves that. I hope that it achieves that, my family. I hope that it achieves that. You see what the royal family is afraid of. You see what I told you. Optics. That is what they care about. Optics. They're afraid of the public turning on them. They are afraid of that only. And the UK press, obviously, also turning on them. That is what they fear. And that's why they'll do everything in their power to try and silence people, keep people quiet, keep their victims quiet, like how they're demanding that Harry, ditches his memoir, or that they keep quiet, never talk about what happened to them in the royal family, the cruelty that they were put through by the UK press and the farm. Only an abuser is afraid of being found out, an abuser, and that is what the farm is afraid of, being found out. It's high time that they're exposed on a grand scale. The entire world sees what Harry and Meghan were up against, the cruelty of the farm. It's high time the world is reminded of that. It's high time that the world is reminded of just how cruel, Charles was towards the late Diana. It is high time, my family. High time that the world is reminded. Because what they did towards the late Diana was so evil. So evil. It is so evil. The only thing that they fear is being exposed. Well, I hope the crown exposes them. I just hope that it exposes them. Season 5 will be very interesting. I want you to hear something. A recording that was made, when they're making these documentaries about how Charles treated Diana, because they love these documentaries covering members of the royal family. Because talking about the royal family, it's a big business in the UK. So they love talking about the royal family. And there is something in particular that I would like for you to be able to hear for yourself about what was said on how Charles was cruel to Diana in an effort to do everything in his power to break Diana, my family. They were that cruel towards her. And I'm hoping for justice for the late Diana. It's high time that the people that caused her pain, who are Charles and Camilla, face accountability for the pain that they did indeed cause the late Princess Diana. My family, just hear this.
Prince Charles wasn't always kind to the princess. Prince Charles wasn't always kind to the princess. In fact, sometimes he was quite cruel. I know.
Prince Charles wasn't always kind to the princess. As a matter of fact, he was quite cruel. Let's continue.
One occasion she came downstairs wearing a beautiful black and white Catherine Walker gown. And she said, "Charles, I've had it made specially. Do you like it? You look like you belong to the mafia," he said, which cut her down to her knees. Then on one occasion she came down in a tartan dress and said, "Do you like this one? Well, you look like a British Caledonian stewardess." It was always undermining, just before an engagement began, so that she would lose her confidence.
So that she would lose her confidence.
I never saw any physical violence. I saw tables being upset. I saw crockery being thrown across the room, but I never saw any physical violence.
It's even sadder when you realize how much Diana tried to please them. The late Diana tried to please them, tried to please Charles. She put on fancy, sweet clothes just to please Charles. But Charles always demeaned her. Anything that she did was never good enough for Charles. You know, what I'm happy for Meghan is that she had a good man by her side, because Diana never had that. She never had the love and support from a partner that Meghan has in Prince Harry. And this is what the royal family does. But yet somehow they're upset with people being reminded of what people already know or have been told, even in the UK itself, by the Crown, because reasonable people will see how cruel the farm is, how dysfunctional that family is. You know, let me repeat this once again, just shortly.
And she said, "Charles, I've had it made specially. Do you like it? You look like you belong to the mafia," he said, which cut her, wearing a beautiful black and white Catherine Walker gown to the princess. In fact, sometimes he was quite cruel. I remember one occasion she came downstairs wearing a beautiful black and white Catherine Walker gown. And she said, "Charles, I've had it made specially. Do you like it? You look like you belong to the mafia," he said, which cut her down to her knees. Then on one occasion she came down in a tartan dress and said, "Do you like this one? Well, you look like a British Caledonian stewardess." It was always undermining, just before an engagement began, so that she would lose her confidence. So it was mental cruelty in a way. I never saw any physical violence. I saw tables being upset. I saw crockery being thrown across the room, but I never saw any physical violence.
By someone who was actually there. Mental cruelty, mental torture. That is what the farm does to people. And that is what the Crown, some of the things that the Crown will feature on its series next season, which I'm hoping the world will be able to see. And I also hope that they don't put a disclaimer, because what the farm did to Diana was cruelty, emotional, psychological, and even mental cruelty. That is what they did to her. Yet when Harry talked about mental health, some people mock him. The farm does everything in its power to ruin people. They're just angry that they did accomplish that. They did not accomplish that with Prince Harry and Meghan. That they haven't broken them like how they wanted to. My family, you've heard this clip that I've shared with you about just how cruel Charles was towards Diana. They don't want you to see that in the Crown. They don't want you to hear that even. They are comfortable with it being shown in the UK because of the hate for profit business model in the UK, but are not okay with people who are smart and reasonable people who use their common sense being showed how cruel the farm is. It's high time those people are exposed for their cruelty. The Crown is doing a good job. Let it not bend to the will and the whims of the farm by putting a disclaimer on the episodes, because they've done that with the trailer, but don't do that with the episodes. My family, what do you think about all of this? Should Harry defend these people? Should Harry defend people who treated his late mother with so much disdain, like how Charles treated Diana? Cruelty. Should Harry defend those people who never said a word when Meghan was being abused? Should Harry defend them? The answer, my family, is a resounding no. It shouldn't. What do you think about all of this? And with that and so much more, stay tuned to our next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and support our ever-growing family on YouTube. My family, it's funny how the propaganda arm of the royal family has been weaponized against the Crown, yet they couldn't do anything to defend Meghan. It's clear that they could have, but how could they when they were busy inciting hate against Meghan? I hope one day that the farm will be accountable and answer for the pain that it has caused Meghan and Diana. Once again, justice for the late Diana. Justice for Meghan. Justice for all the victims. Justice for all the victims of the farm and the UK tabloid press. There needs to be justice. Stay tuned to our next video. Hello, members of Sussex Family TV. First of all, I want to say thank you for all your support that you give us to our channel. We don't take it for granted that you support this channel. I want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts for lending out your support and fighting against injustices, supporting Prince Harry and Meghan, showing them love. Love will always triumph over evil, and for that I say thank you. Good will always prevail over bad. Thank you so much for all your support. Thank you so much for joining this community, this amazing community of Sussex Family TV. I love you so much, family, from the bottom of my heart, and I wish you all the best. May you have a great day, and I hope that you enjoyed this video and learned a lot of things. With that and so much more, stay tuned to our next video. Leave a comment below, like, and subscribe. Love you, family, always and forever. Sayonara.